Hi guys, welcome back to Nico Talks Hockey. Today I want to talk about who I think will be the most likely this season to win their first ever Hart Trophy. So we're not talking about the Connor McDavids, the Leon Draisaitl's, the Nathan McKinnons, or the Connor Hellebucks even. These are people that have never won a Hart Trophy in their careers yet. And these could be older players, they could be younger players, but the only requirement is that you haven't won it yet. And I think these are 10 players plus, as usual, a couple honorable mentions. I think these are some players who have an actual shot. There's some players who are definitely long shots, but they have somewhat of a chance just because of, again, the Hart Trophy. The Hart Trophy is the most valuable player during the regular season. And there's different ways you can interpret that. There are some purists. I consider myself somewhat of a purist, where I definitely lean towards when I'm thinking about who deserves the Hart Trophy. Um, I tend to want to give it to, I tend to want it to go to a player who is truly like the most valuable player on their team, and they help their team reach something that if they were not on it, their team would not be able to do it without them. So I understand that there's some crazy seasons where, the team wins the President's Trophy and, a player on that team just has an unbelievable season. They deserve it. Kind of like Leon Draisaitl did a few years back. But I also look at like Connor Hellebuck and what he was able to do last season. And I think that was very worthy of a Hart Trophy. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So there's two honorable mentions here today. My first honorable mention here is Clayton Keller of the Utah Mammoth. Clayton Keller, again, this is a long shot. This is a very long shot. I'm not saying that he's going to be the most valuable player in the National Hockey League this season. I'm not saying that, but I do think that out of all the people who don't have it yet, he actually has somewhat of a shot. There's a percentage chance, because there is a world where Utah makes it. They make it comfortably, and Clayton Keller just goes otherworldly. Let's say he goes for 100 points plus, and gets this Utah team back to playoffs after not being in it for many years now. Obviously, it was the Arizona Coyotes before, but you know what I mean. So yeah, if he's able to truly show to the voters, and everyone, if he's able to build a narrative around him that he is, the most valuable player to his team and therefore the league, as being someone who just truly transcended their game to the next level to take their team to the next level. Yeah, he could win it, but he's not in the top 10. He's an honorable mention because there's other players who have slightly better shots than him for sure. The last honorable mention is Connor Bedard of the Chicago Blackhawks. A lot like Clayton Keller in the sense that it would be an unbelievable shock. I have him just ahead. I mean, it's still an honorable mention, but I mentioned him right before the top 10 here because it would be way more of a shock if the Chicago Blackhawks make the playoffs than the Utah Mammoth. I'd say half the people predicting, the playoffs and how they're going to go and the season standings, they have the Utah making it. Very few people have the Chicago Blackhawks making it. I mean, I'm as big of a homer as they come, but I don't have the Blackhawks making the playoffs this season. So Connor Bedard, if he was able to transcend, truly go into superstar status, reach 90 to 100 points at least, at the very least, and put the team on his back to playoffs, yeah, that would maybe win him the Hart Trophy. But yeah, these are all very, they're not bets you should make. They're more like just if that would happen, if that were to happen, then these players could win the whole thing. But moving into our top 10 here, I've got at number 10, Timmy Stu. It's Tim Stützle from the Ottawa Senators. Senators, again, I've said this before in previous videos, in recent videos, but I'm very high on the Senators. They've had a decent start to the season, and if Tim Stützle can be the number one guy there, if they can be the number one team in the Atlantic, which is actually what my prediction is for them, then I could see, the voters looking at Timmy Stu, and he would have to, again, reach at least 100 points, and the Senators would have to be, world world eating, and they would have to be that number one team in the Atlantic, maybe win the East or whatever, but they would have to be, at least a top five team in the whole league. But yeah, if Timmy Stu can be that number one guy for that kind of team, yeah, I could see voters, you know, looking at him as potentially someone to win their very first Hart Trophy. Moving on to number 9, it is Mikko Rantanen of the Dallas Stars. This one is, I think, we jump a little bit in percentage odds from Timmy Stu to Mikko Rantanen. This one actually I could see happening. Dallas Stars, they've got an unbelievable team. If they end up being the number one team in the Central, one team in the West, let's say they win the President's Trophy. A lot of this, again, you'll see as I go through this list, I've already said a little bit that a lot of this hinges on your team being really good. It's all about expectations for the Hart Trophy, I feel like. For a lot of the other trophies like the Vezina or the Norris, the Calder, all these are kind of like, it's okay if the favorite ends up winning it. That's totally fine. The Hart Trophy doesn't always go that way. A lot of times, it's like the Jack Adams, the best coach of the year. A lot of times that goes to a coach that, upends expectations about how their team was going to do or how they themselves were going to do. So for the Hart Trophy, it's pretty similar. So yeah, if Mikko Rantanen, lots of eyes are on the Dallas Stars, and with their rivalry with the Colorado Avalanche now, lots of eyes are on them. Such a great team, and if he can be the number one guy, reach the kind of the at least tie the kind of stats he's had of previous career years. If he can have a career year again, yeah, Mikko Rantanen I could absolutely see being at the top of that list, and maybe like somewhere in the top, and then maybe the top. The number one player gets the most votes for winning the Hart Trophy this season. So moving on to number 8. At number 8 here, I've got Cale Makar. So this one is, it may not feel like a long shot because he's like the best defenseman in the NHL, right? So why would it be a long shot for him to eventually win a Hart Trophy? And I could absolutely see it happening, but it's always hard when you've got another superstar, like one of the best players in the league on your team. So that's Nathan MacKinnon, right? So when you have him kind of taking up all that oxygen, so to speak, for lack of a better term, it can be hard for you to stand out. MVPs and Hart Trophy winners, they stand out from the rest. And so, yeah, it'll be a little harder, I think, for Cale Makar to do that when Nathan MacKinnon is being Nathan MacKinnon. If he were to suffer an injury, if he were to be out for a significant amount of time for part of the season, then I could see, Cale Makar, like if he doesn't skip a beat and he's still Cale Makar and he's doing it all without Nathan MacKinnon, then I could absolutely see him winning this whole thing. Because the Avalanche, again, I don't have them being a bad team this season. There's some hot takes I saw where they're missing playoffs. I don't have that. I think they're going to be the best team in the Central Division. So, yeah, Cale Makar comes in at number 8. At number 7, this is a player who's off to an unbelievable start. Talked about him in my last video, but it is Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel is, he's got a great shot to win it, I think. Now, the expectations around the Vegas Golden Knights are that they're going to be the best team in the Pacific. I think that's the general narrative or the general prediction for the Vegas Golden Knights this season. So it's not like Eichel and the Knights got first in the Pacific last season. So them getting first again in the Pacific, that's not going to do a lot for him. But just because of the awesome start he's on and if he keeps that up, if he just has not just a career year, like an insane career year, if he really transcends to, he's already like a top 12 player in the league in my eyes. If he transcends to, top 5, he puts up some unbelievable stats. Mitch Marner now on his team, and yeah, I could see it. Definitely could see it for sure. At number 6 here, just missing the top 5 in terms of the odds for most likely to win their first ever Hart Trophy this season. At number 6, I've got Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes, he could be next up. He could be the next player up to have a Hart Trophy to their name and to their career. Jack Hughes, everyone's waiting for him to have that fully healthy season. I am hoping and I'm predicting that he does have a fully healthy season. Plays, very close to 82 games. And then if he's healthy all season, he will very likely be what he's been the past few years, which is a superstar. Which is, like it's just the injury history. It's just the injury concerns that's stopping him from reaching that status of, when he's talked about it. If he does that, if he has a fully healthy season and he does what Jack Hughes can do, he'll be talked about in the same vein as McKinnon, McDavid, Matthews, and Barkov, all those kind of players. So, yeah, the Devils, they also would have to have a really good season, probably top of the Metro, maybe top in the East. But yeah, Jack Hughes absolutely has that ability. Just got to stay healthy. So moving to the top 5 here in terms of odds. At number 5, it's the other Hughes brother, or one of the other ones. It's Quinn Hughes. Now, this one, I think I just put him a little bit ahead of Jack just because of their team, right? Vancouver Canucks missed the playoffs last season, and not everybody has them going back. You could, if you probably boiled down the stats, I'd say more than half of people who make these predictions probably have the Canucks missing it again, even though the Pacific is very weak, right? So the Canucks don't have a ton of expectations to make it. If Quinn Hughes can defy those expectations, pull his team, put him on his back, and defy those expectations for him, for this team, then yeah, kind of like Cale Makar, but he is, he's on a worse team. So that helps him actually in the Hart Trophy conversation. I really do think that. Moving to the top 4 here, I've got 2 Buffalo Sabres back-to-back. I'll just reveal them now. At number 4 is Rasmus Dahlin. So yeah, Rasmus Dahlin. At number 3 is Tage Thompson. I'll get into why I have Tage Thompson just a hair above. But at number 4, Rasmus Dahlin. So Dahlin I have at number 4 because, again, I'll say this throughout the whole video, it's expectations. Dahlin is one of the best defensemen in the league. But I don't know if he's always ranked as high as I have him personally ranked in terms of my defensive rankings. I have him 3rd best. I think it's Cale Makar, I think it's Quinn Hughes, and I think it's Rasmus Dahlin. That's how much I respect his game, and I view him as a superstar defenseman. So if the Buffalo Sabres can do the impossible and be good, if they can make playoffs, then Rasmus Dahlin is the number 1 guy if you can have slightly better seasons than he's had before and show everyone who he is, make an unbelievable statement of a season. He'll be quite high on that list of where voters want to award him this Hart Trophy. But at number 3 is Tage Thompson, like I said before, because I think it's slightly more of a possibility that Tage Thompson, what if he wins the Rocket Richard and then also wins the Hart Trophy? He's not the worst bet for, if you're trying to predict who might win the Rocket Richard, score the most goals in an NHL season. As long as they can be just not the Buffalo Sabres of recent years, if they can finally take a big step, if they can make the playoffs, like I said, and he's scoring at least 50 goals, which he's capable of, like, no doubt. Tage Thompson is one of the best players in the league. He has to stay healthy. He has that little bit of injury concerns, but yeah, I have him just above at number 3. Moving to the top 2 here, though, these are players that I can't believe they've never won a Hart Trophy in their careers yet. But at number 2 is David Pastrnak. This guy deserves a Hart Trophy. He better not retire without a Hart Trophy. But I doubt that ever happens because he proves year in, year out, doesn't matter how good his Bruins team is, doesn't matter how bad his Bruins team is, it doesn't matter who's on his line. He creates offense out of pure determination, will, and talent. David Pastrnak is one of the most impressive players in the whole league. And if the Bruins can get back to playoffs and maybe be a top 3 team in the Atlantic, and then Pastrnak puts up, 115, 120 plus points, yeah, he's getting that Hart Trophy. But at number 1, this is the player I think that is most likely out of all these players to win their very first Hart Trophy and add that to their careers, is Kirill Kaprizov of the Minnesota Wild. Kirill Kaprizov, what is there to say about him that hasn't been said? He signs the long-term extension, 8 years. He's staying in Minnesota. Great for him. He secured the bag. And now all he's got left is to prove that he can be healthy for a whole season and truly show everyone that he is that he belongs in the conversation, in my opinion, along with the Kucherovs and the McKinnons and the McDavids. I think I had him ranked 5th or 6th when I during the summer when I ranked the top 25 players in the NHL. I think I had him like 5th or 6th. That's how highly I view Kirill Kaprizov and what he can do and what he can bring to Minnesota. There's a reason he got $17 million per year for the next 8 years. He is just he's an alien. He's an alien, and what he produces. And yeah, so if Minnesota can be a top 3 divisional team, I don't think it would take much. They don't even have to be like a top team in the Central. There's a lot of good teams at the top there, like Winnipeg and Dallas and Colorado. They just got to make it there. I'd say you have to probably be a top 3 team in the Central. But yeah, Kirill Kaprizov, he was on track. I think people forget last year before he got injured for half the season. He was on track to win the Hart Trophy. He was going to win it, in my opinion. So, but he got injured. So have that start, which he very much is having that start again, and stay healthy and get this Minnesota team to playoffs. But that is it. That is my list of, with 2 honorable mentions, the top 10 players most likely to win their very first Hart Trophy this season. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is a list that I really enjoyed making. Who do you think will win if it is a player for the first time winning the Hart Trophy, who do you think it will be? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would mean so much to me and the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.